combo, how we are going to sync up MuleSoft APIs into the Salesforce API catalog and access it from Agentforce using the Agentforce actions, basically, right? So, and use that Agentforce, once the Agentforce actions are integrated from Salesforce, it can be, used to fetch the details. Like we have multiple use cases we can think of, like when there is a third party endpoint currently, from Salesforce, if they need to invoke, either they need to call an external service and invoke the third party API, or they can invoke it directly as an external service. So considering the robust of our integration platform, which can be used across different channels, now MuleSoft and AnyPoint Org can sync up. Sorry, Salesforce and AnyPoint Org can sync up, and from there they can directly access those APIs, third-party APIs, via whichever MuleSoft exposes from their API catalog, and it can be accessed as an invocable actions at Salesforce. Okay, and along with that, once the agent is created with the action, that agent can be synced to Slack, which is a compared to opening Salesforce platform and user is accessing there. Agent can be accessed from Slack itself, which is like in real time when they want to do some approvals, when they want to query for some details which involves the workflow, they can do it in their hand in their Slack app, just like chatting in WhatsApp, right? So that's the agenda of this. So basically, we tried this use case in hackathon, TDS hackathon, myself and Lini and a couple of our friends, Harsha and Vignesh from Mulecraft. But since our entire team is into MuleSoft, it was difficult for us to crack that Salesforce part. So we thought of giving a speak over it, meetups over it. So this topic comes into our mind. Now, yeah. So as I explained, this entire setup we cannot show it in a demo basically because it MuleSoft and Salesforce itself will take some time, and Slack to Salesforce will take a considerable amount of time for the configuration. So I'm planning to show the demo of the created agent accessing it from Slack, and during the session itself, then post the slides are over, I'll be giving a demo from scratch of how the MuleSoft API can be used in the Salesforce part and accessing it as via the agent action. Okay, so and the Slack part, I think we will not be able to cover it in demo, but we can show it as a working model now, which I have created already. Okay, since our criteria mostly involves MuleSoft plus Salesforce, right? Slack is something which we are going to give as a open end for a use case here. Okay, let's start with the yeah.
Jayprakash, can you
Yeah,
please just hide this stop means
sure, yeah,
button? Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so coming to the objective, as I mentioned, like Slack is mainly a collaboration and messaging platform, where we can integrate the workflow via agents. And Agentforce is a Salesforce native agent productivity solution, which is basically autonomous, AI bots, you can say, which will think of its own and based on our instruction what we have provided, and execute the workflows for us. And as you know, MuleSoft is our API management and integration platform where we can hold securities, proxies, and host different applications, which is our core, right? And why this matters now? See, basically, nowadays, right, it became inevitable to have every access or every use cases or workflows for a working professional in their hand. So that's this Slack integration with this particular Agentforce plus MuleSoft will bring most of the use cases pertaining to retail or field service industry in our hand, actually, where they need to take a decision. They no need to wait for I need to log into my Salesforce platform to approve this or to do this action. They can do it via the agents, which we can expose via the Slack app as of now. Yeah, and yeah, so this involves we can break this down into multiple steps, right? Where we can first step is to we can design we should make sure our third party API is designed in any kind platform, and it's being exposed to Salesforce catalog to consume. So you know the basic way of like how we design it in the design center and add it to the API manager for deployment. And in order to make our API to be visible for the Salesforce catalog, right, we need to do two things basically. In addition, one is tag it as sf hyphen API hyphen catalog in any point exchange. Once it is published, I'll show you in some time, right? So we should tag this as sf hyphen API hyphen catalog in the anypoint exchange for that particular API assert basically, and that API will be activated by deployment. We need to create the auto discovery, and once we deploy the package after our implementation in our runtime, that became active in API manager, right? Once it is activated, there will be a consumer and upstream URL for each and every asset in the API manager. So we should specify the base path and along with basically the public endpoint along with the base path if any. Ideally, whenever we generate the flow in our Anypoint Studio, it will by default create slash API slash star, right? So that's why I just mentioned it as an example. And when developing the API, some tips which we can take it around is it's better if we define our API with field level schemas, right? Data types, which will be easy for the agent and Salesforce catalog to prepare the, basically the bean classes for parsing and rendering it to access and visualize the data, right? And yeah, and this there are some URLs which I have referred to prepare this. I'll share it with you in the chat shortly, and also this slide will be available as Lenny mentioned, so you can take it from here. And so basically creating the API and doing this visibility prerequisite will be our first step. And second will be we can establish this, maybe most of the people would have done it already, so where we need to connect our anypoint platform and Salesforce organization. This can be done by accessing the org and tenancy details. So to make this connection or to establish the connection, you have to be admin in both Anypoint platform and Salesforce. Okay, where from the Anypoint platform you need to take your from the Salesforce first you need to take your tenant key and you need to put it in the Anypoint platform and vice versa, so that a trusted relationship will be established and the API connectivity will be created. Once it is created, you will be able to see the MuleSoft APIs inside the Salesforce API catalog within Salesforce, maybe within 2 to 5 minutes of the initial setup. Then you can view and so once you've done this, the outcome will be you will be able to view and sync the APIs which are all eligible based on our tag, right, in the Anypoint Exchange SF API catalog. And once the API is active with the consumer and public endpoint, you will be able to see it in Salesforce. Okay. Then once the API is available in Salesforce, you can activate the APIs. And while activating, you need to give certain permissions to the user. When you are activating, let's say you are going to use the API in a agent action, right? So with whichever user you are going to create the Salesforce agent, that user should have access to this API and the naming credential, which is basically the client ID, client secret, which Salesforce by default created in our Anypoint platform. Once you do this activation of APIs, you should be seeing our for whichever the API you have activated in our Anypoint platform API manager, you should see a contract shared already, like how we will create the client ID and client secret and provide with when we create a new client, right? So that contract should be visible in the Anypoint platform. So if you see the create connection process creates the required objects in Salesforce automatically, which means, which I mentioned, based on the schema, it will create all the Apex classes for rendering purpose, like request and response format and external credentials, named credentials, and invocable actions and permission sets. All these are necessary because we established a trusted relationship between Anypoint platform and Salesforce. For this to now the URL is trusted. Basically, the platforms are trusted. Otherwise, from Salesforce, whenever you are calling an external service, you need to add it in remote site settings, which will consider that URL is trusted and they can invoke it, right? So now, since we created it as an organization sync and we have created a connection basically via API catalog, it itself will, Salesforce itself will create the get the credential from any point platform and use it to invoke the particular public endpoint which we have configured in the API manager. Okay, so this is the part of activating APIs, which means now the API is available in Salesforce and activated, and it can be used to create a invocable action or an agent action, right? Now, agent action can be created by accessing the agent builder in Salesforce, and you can, basically create an action where you need to select the API from which the reference type of creating an action. You will have of 3 to 4 options, out of which it will be an API, and from there you need to select MuleSoft because it is the MuleSoft API. There will be two options basically. One is MuleSoft, another one is external service. So here you are going to click, select MuleSoft, and out of which it will give the activated APIs. It will show the activated APIs from where you can create the actions basically. Okay. Then based on your use case, whatever it is, like you can generate the actions. Like for example, here I'm going to get the quantity for a stock keeping unit. I'll just mention this API is to fetch the stock keeping unit. You should get the SKU from the user and fetch the quantity and show it to the user. That's what I'm going to do here. I'll show you in a bit. So basically, first step, as I mentioned earlier, maybe a minor recap. We will design the API in Anypoint platform and expose it and deploy it by making it, post which it will become active in API manager, and you can basically apply the client policy, also client credentials, which is a minimum compliance requirement. Then you can establish a connection between Anypoint platform and Salesforce, where the organization will be synced and the API exposed will be available in Salesforce for us to consume in Agentforce, basically. Once the API is available, you need to convert that. It will be inactive. It will be in inactive state. You need to activate it. Once activated, you can use it to create an agent action. Once the agent action is created, that agent action can be used in a agent topic where the agent will use it for fulfilling the user requirement whenever they ask a query or they post a detail with them. Then comes, now it is integrated. Now this Agentforce can be used in Salesforce itself, the for accessing. In order to make it furthermore available or make it handy, we can integrate the Slack also within Salesforce, and you can install that agent to Slack too, basically. So similar to Anypoint platform, but the Slack configuration will have some 5 to 10 steps more. We have a separate trailhead steps also, which is almost like 45 minutes or such. You can do that. For doing the Slack configuration, for doing all these configurations, basically you need to have admin rights in Salesforce. Okay. So similar to that, like you can sync up a Slack and Salesforce organizations, and you can authenticate it, and you can deploy the agent there. Okay. So this is the basic use case and funda which we are going to see. And yeah, before this, maybe let's see a demo, right? So are you guys able to see my browser, like where I have Salesforce and Anypoint platform?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I will show you the one which I have already created, right? First, and to see the agent and everything. So if you see here in my design center, I just created some two dummy APIs, right? Like inventory related part, and I have once created, we will publish it to Exchange, and in the Exchange, if you see, I have added a tag here where it's sf-api-catalog. This tag should be added so that it will be visible in the Salesforce platform, basically. So, and after that, I have created an API manager, and in the API manager, I have deployed the API. And as you know, like we will deploy it in the runtime platform, post which it became active. Once it became active, we will be having our public endpoint for each and every API or package we deploy, which will be this application URL, right? Along with this, I have appended slash API slash because I have used that as a default base path in my API. That is being updated here in the implementation URL and customer endpoint. Basically, if you edit this, you will see it as a customer endpoint and upstream URL. Okay, where these things will be added. So once this is added and our organization is synced, right? How the organization sync will happen? You need to have go to the access management, right? Here we'll have the Salesforce orgs where we need to add a Salesforce org and do the stuff. This one I'll show it to you maybe post completing this agent interaction and everything. I'll spin up a new org and I'll try to add this Salesforce org. Meanwhile, if you guys have your Anypine platform account already with some APIs, you can do this tagging and public endpoint updates basically. Post this during the demo. I'll uh, we can together create spin up a new developer org in Salesforce, and we can try doing the sync up and showing it the API catalog in Salesforce, and if time permits we can create agent action also. Okay, so yeah, and once these things are done, right, basically all the prerequisite and the sync up is done. So now I should be able to see my APIs in the API catalog. Now in Salesforce, go to setup. Here you can have an API, search for an API catalog. So under MuleSoft, I have two APIs, right? Which I have exposed. Basically, I have done the SF API catalog tagging also, and it is active. So once it is done, I can activate the actions inside this each and every API. I have couple of endpoints. One is get, and another one is post. Get I have activated, post I didn't activate. So here this is where you need to activate the action. If it is first time, it will ask for the create connection and everything, where the connection is already created. If you see the details here, it automatically generate the permission set and fetch the destination URL base path and create a named credential. So what does this named credential contains? It contains our endpoint, and external credential will have the client ID and client secret, which is fetched from the registered and fetched from the Anypine platform, and the custom headers is created here automatically. All these are done by just simply activating it. And in the Anypine platform, if you see in the API manager, right, you will be able to see two client applications, each for one API it is registered actually. So this is what will happen once you activate it, which I mentioned. Okay. So after doing this, what I have done, I use these particular APIs to create the agent actions actually. So if you search for agent, you will have this Agentforce agents and Agentforce assets. In Agentforce assets, this is where you will be able to see the topics and actions basically, where in the actions, I've created this check inventory part. Maybe I'll show you. Okay, will come up during the demo, right? So this check inventory thing, which I have created, if you see, since the schema is already there, it knows it has one input, which is a query parameter, which is SKU, SKU value, stock keeping unit, and it automatically created the Apex class to render the output basically. So 200 will be our success response. All these are fetched based on our API contract, which we designed in our design center. Okay. So this is our Agentforce action which we can create. Once that is done in any agent, right, we can use that action actually. If you see, this agent for service agent is an agent which has inventory management as a topic. Okay. In this topic, I have given an instruction: get the real time quantity with input SKU, use get check inventory, which the get check inventory is the action which we created. And in this topic action, we need to add it actually. Okay. So this is what we need to do here. So for example, now I will ask the agent, I need to check the quantity for a product. So it is asking, sure, I can help with that. Could you please provide this SKU for of the product? So I'll just mention SKU is okay. So the current quantity of the product with SKU is 1,500 units, right? I just mocked the API in platform that we can always, connect it in the in any pen platform. We can connect with third party. That should not be an issue. But basically, what happened here is the agent invoked the MuleSoft API, which I have deployed in our platform, right? Maybe we can check the logs here. It should be available. So it accessed the API here. Yeah, few seconds ago, check inventory. It got, it accessed here and it fetched the output, and it has given this is the value which have come for the quantity. Okay, and you can always see the actions and the responses in this part. Okay, now this agent is available within Salesforce. But if you make the Slack setup also within Salesforce, and once you sync it, this can be used within Slack, which is using a Slack app, right? It can be accessed. The same thing can be accessed from your Slack also. So if you see here in the Slack, I have my Agentforce agents, and I have recent agent and all agents. Once I click, so even I can. So if you see in your tools and settings in Slack, you will have manage sales station. This is where you need to go and set up the Salesforce and Slack organization. I'll give you a design, complete link about it. We have a trial of that, and there is a nice documentation from Slack too. And I have connected the Salesforce R, and if you see from here, we can similarly access the agents also. Manage agent force once it is connected. So I have two agents created there, and both are active. The main thing is this agent should be active so that it will be used from any other things. So if I see the active agents, I have two agents active which got deployed from the Salesforce thing, right? Now in Slack, I'm going to ask the agent, right? So this is one. This is another agent, inventory management. What we access there is a Slack, but from Slack, the agent which we created in Salesforce. That's what we are doing here. Excuse me, sorry. I need to against next. Okay, let me give it straight away, right? Yeah, so the current quantity it has fetched similarly. If you see and then another API, right? Yeah, few seconds ago the API invocation happened. So now what we have done here is like whatever the agent we have created in Salesforce that got linked to our Slack, workspace. From Slack, we have agents and ask a query. See, this is a very this kind of you can consider as a POC or initial getting started with the workflow. But when you see the use cases which we can do and the easiness, right, which we are going to get in this sophistication, we are going to get is like very huge. Like, we will be having each and every approval or real-time updates, everything from a third party external service in our hand when it comes to the Slack integration basically. So this is the overall idea of integrating third-party service via MuleSoft and getting it in Salesforce, creating it as an agent action basically. Even without Slack, that scheduled trigger can happen. Multiple options or multiple things we can do from the Agentforce, where autonomous agents can do actions for us based on the instructions, right? And that can be accessed also, and that can be viewed from Slack itself. Okay. So this is the overview of the use case which which I'm going to I was talking about here. And yeah, so from here in the key takeaway, right? MuleSoft APIs can be cataloged and surfaced in Salesforce, and Agentforce enables the API consumption through agent actions, and Slack interaction bring these actions to daily agent workflows. So this is what we are getting out of it basically. So next step is something like we can connect the org and develop the APIs and build actions and deploy and test the workflows inside Slack. Okay. So yeah, now what I'm planning is I have my Anypoint platform set up already, and also I have showed you guys on the API. I think designing the API in Design Center and publishing it to Anypoint Exchange and deploying it and activating it in runtime and API Manager does not need much intro, I guess. Hope it's our core, right? In case if you guys have any what to say uh, any pen platform ready with you, feel free to join me on doing the demo with the Salesforce sync up and API catalog. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin up. I think, Lenny, we have time, right? We have 20 more minutes before
Oh
11.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So, what we can do is, guys, like if you have any point platform available with you, we can spin up a new Salesforce org from the developer org basically, and we can try doing this agent till creating that agent action, basically syncing up, accessing the API in Salesforce. All this we can do. Let me share you URL where you can register, sign up, and bring a new Salesforce environment. Right. In case if you guys have any pen platform or any API available ready with you, you guys can take that. Yeah, I have given you a link where you can sign up and create a Salesforce developer org for you, spin up an org. I'll do that. Once it is done, I'll create. I will just okay. Let me share my screen. Maybe you guys can start with me, right? Everyone can start. So window share. Yeah. So this is what it's accessing. This is a current one which I already created. So I'm just updating. So you can sign up in the link, right? Okay.
Jayaprakash, we have a question.
Yeah.
Agents are available to which version, Pro or Business?
No, it will be available. Business, it should be available, but we can go with this developer. Our developer by default comes with the agent for us to see it in the demo.
Yeah. So this is free only, but
Yeah,
if we are not using continuously for 45 days, this will be
this will
agent.
be yeah. I don't know why this is not getting signed up. One second.
If anyone want to speak, you can drop a message in the chat. I'll enable your presenter mode. Uh, okay. Jayprakash, he is asking for Slack, whether
Okay.
they is available to which pro, which version, pro or
Yeah, it
business.
should be pro. But when you can get a trial version for 30 days if you want to try it out, but it will be available in pro. Yes. Uh, Any, are you able to spin up or sign up in a new environment? Are you doing?
I didn't try it actually.
I don't know. It's not allowing me now. One second.
Is it not working?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not allowing. Let me try it, and I'm trying
I
again in
have
pro.
another one, so why have logged into that?
Oh, okay. But yeah, well, let's.
Not able to sign up, it seems, for few people.
Hmm. For few. Okay. Even I couldn't do. This is an URL I got from our TDX actually. You have any environment with you, Lenny?
Uh,
Salesforce?
Yesterday we were able to sign up, right?
Yeah,
Just now.
yesterday I was able to. It was a couple of days before. I'm not sure, like, did they stopped or wait.
Okay, I will share the URL.
Okay.
Yes.
Even as Abhishek, you have any idea? Did they stop the? Uh,
No, no, Abhishek is not here. He
okay.
dropped actually.
No, no, day before yesterday, oh, we are able to sign up. Okay, few people are able to sign up. Good.
Yeah, I can able to sign up to Prakash.
Okay. Okay, then in that case, Lenny, if you have any Salesforce environment spinned up, right? Like, can you give me the creds so that I will
Yes.
log in from there and do the
Yeah.
demo?
Try this one.
Yeah, just ping it
I'm
to
just
me in Slack.
in Slack. Okay.
Yeah, link is fine. We can, I think we can go with the to login.salesforce. Just okay,
Yeah, try this one.
sure. Let me try here. So, guys, hope I think they are restricting based on if people have already signed in or based on that basic details and all, right? I think they are verifying. I believe that might be the issue. But yeah, couple of people are a few have already signed up, right? Once you signed up, you will be able to reset your password and all. So let's do that, right? And we can log in after that. So let me start from here. Yeah.
Skip it.
No,
Verification.
verification code.
Okay, let me send you that. Okay, I got it. 737592.
One second. 737592. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the environment. Once you get it, right, what you can do is you will be the admin by default. So you can go here, go to the setup, and you can check for Einstein, right? You will have the agent force
Yes.
agents and all. Yeah, in yeah. So you can click on agent force agents, and you can enable the agent force part. And there is an enable the agent force default agent also where you can enable it. Okay. And now we can. So basically now we have a Salesforce environment and we have an endpoint platform. And in our endpoint platform, we have the APIs deployed to the API manager and it is ready to consume. Okay. The main thing we need to, what I mentioned earlier, it should be tagged as SF API catalog and the consumer endpoint and upstream URL has to be updated. Those prerequisites are already done here. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my Salesforce platform. I'm gonna check any point. I'm gonna type. So I have this any point platform setup, right? Here I have an option view connection info. Here I have this tenant key. I'm copying this tenant key and I'm coming to my Anypoint platform. In my Anypoint platform, I'm going to my access management. Okay. In this access management, we have the Salesforce or yeah. And one more thing, Anypoint platform can be connected to multiple Salesforce platforms, but one Salesforce platform can be connected to only one Anypoint. Okay. Similar thing is there for Slack too, I believe. Okay. So now I'm gonna already I have a Salesforce org. Now I'm which I created as a Chennai meetup. I'm gonna have one more Salesforce org. Add Salesforce org. I have click, and I'm going to copy the tenant key which I have fetched from the Salesforce plan. I'm gonna add it here. Now I want to give the name used. I'll give as Chennai meetup demo. Okay, meetup demo, and I'm gonna add it. It got added. Now I need to copy this endpoint platform or key and I need to go here in Salesforce. I need to put it here and I need to establish a connection. So if you see here, the mules of connection meetup was created. Okay. So meetup is my anypoint organization name. All those came here, and in this you can enable these two, where enable invocable actions from MuleSoft Anypoint platform, and this part. And in the Anypoint platform, you are gonna have the control. So if you see here, I have two orgs, Chennai Meetup and Chennai Meetup demo. In this, I have disabled this. You do not allow this Salesforce or to import APIs. I need to enable this part. This is the final step of establishing a trusted relationship. Here you can check the business groups inside Anypoint platform and you can save the settings. So now basically the basic connection between Anypoint platform and Salesforce is completed. Okay. Now if you come to Salesforce, let me go to API catalog. If I go here, I should have the option of start sync. Okay, I'm giving start sync. So there are no APIs here. It will take couple of minutes basically during the initial set. Not couple, actually it will take 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, we can wait. Meanwhile, I can take any questions.
From Adira, how can you explain how we are connecting the MuleSoft API with Salesforce? I think you
Yeah,
explained.
I think we are doing the demo for that now. Correct, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Adira, does that answer your query? Like we are going to connect it via this API catalog basically.
Okay.
where first we need to establish connection between an anypoint platform organization and anypoint platform and Salesforce organization, which we just did. And once it is done, the eligible APIs will automatically come to the Salesforce API catalog, which for which we are waiting. Let me show you some URL which might be helpful. I'll ping here in the chat, which you guys might.
Jayaprakash, one more
Mhm.
question. Let me know whether we can cover MuleSoft workflow along with defined schema and data types for today's demo.
Yeah, I have it in the defined schema only. I have request and response defined in the schema. Okay.
Yeah, can you show that to?
Yes, yes. So let the API. Yeah, see, I refreshed it. Both the APIs are eligible and it got populated here. Okay, you guys are seeing my screen. So yeah, Lenny, let me finish this. I think this query also will be answered now. Okay, during the demo.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, guys. So we have both the APIs, whichever we have configured in our Anypine platform, got populated there. So this is our API catalog within Salesforce. Once the Anypine platform and Salesforce org is synced, automatically these APIs has come here. Okay. Now let me activate one API for you. Right. I'm going here. I'm clicking on the activate actions part. Okay. It's loading. Yeah. So when I want to activate the action, right, it will first ask me to configure a connection, which is a client contract basically, right? I will describe it. This API is to check and restock the quantity. Okay. And it shows our API discovery ID from the Anypine platform. Basically, see inventory API management is 2072532. Okay, and we have the implementation URL. This is very important. Actually, you should update it there. Okay, even if you have an existing API and if you updated it, give it some 5-10 minutes after the organization sync. It will automatically come here. Okay. Now I'm selecting this, API ID, and I'm creating and continuing here. It's creating a connection. So this is the process where it will establish the connectivity to fetch the contract and everything to the platform, right? So once it is it's getting connected, and I need to go to this manage user assignment. So what we should do is we should give the permission for the user, whoever is going to create the agent action or the agent, this for this particular API part. Okay. So this is the inventory management API permission set, which is being automatically created. Here I need to give couple of permissions in the object settings. We should give we'll be having something called second. I think object credential. What is this? Showcase. Yeah, we'll be having the object named credential. What is it? One second. Give it a minute. Yeah, user external credential. Because this is going to be an external service, right? We need to add this permission, read access, and save it. Permission set overview. Yeah, and in the system permissions, edit. We need to make it API enabled because this is an external API invocation. So save. Yeah. Now I'm gonna give manage assignments. This is where we will be adding the assignment to the user. Okay. So I'm gonna take the default user which we logged in, right? Like in case if you're creating a new agent, you will be having a new users getting created automatically by the Salesforce. For that user also, you need to in the future you need if that user is gonna use the if that agent is gonna use the agent action, you need to add that user also to this permission set. Okay, so it's added. I'm assigning the permission. And one more part, while assigning just before some time now, you were able to see the previous step. You are able to see the date of expiry. That also you can configure. You need only between this date and this, right? Yeah. So now the manage user assignment is done. I'm clicking on next, and I'm enabling the get API for now. Done. See connection created and activations activated. Sorry. So this API is active with one invocable action here. Now what we can do, we can just validate it by refreshing here. I should be seeing at least two client yeah, if you see in my inventory management, I have two client applications. One is with my previous organization which I showed demo for. The other one is now which I have logged in. We can see that actually client applications. If you see here, this is this one. This should be the new one. Yeah. I'm just showing you that it has come. Okay. So this is the arc which Lini has given now. So it got established. So this is where you can confirm that particular action also got its contract shared. So that's it. Now we have the connection also established now. Now our next part is use this API in agent action. Like we have now the connection established and the API got synced and that API we have activated to invocable action also in Salesforce. Now what we can do is we can go to the agents and see, we have our default agent here, which is Lini, or if you want to create, you can create a new agent also. But before that, what we need to do is we need to create an agent action. We can do it in two way. Either we can go to agent assets and we can get the actions from here, create an action from here, or directly we can do it from the agent itself. I'm going for the default agent as of now. I'm opening this agent in the builder. Here I have some generic topics. I'm removing those. You can remove the topics from here, right? So I'm just creating a new topic. While creating, for the default agent, you can just provide the instruction. It will automatically create actually. I need to validate the real time inventory details. Okay, before this, it's better if, okay, inventory details using which software. And check inventory to retrieve information. Inventory agent action. I'm just creating a topic here. Okay. This we can update the names later also. Recommendation of inventory details. Okay. So it is showing us to add any action pertaining to it. The action we haven't created it yet. Just finish this for now. Now once you topic now you can click on this topic and this topic action is there. You can click on new. Either you can add from the asset library, which will have a predefined list of actions already created, or you can click on create new action. So you have this reference action type in Salesforce, which can be an Apex class or an API or a flow or a prompt template. Okay. Now we are going to select API. Once you select API, you have multiple options. As I mentioned, one is external service, another one is MuleSoft. Okay. I click on MuleSoft. Now when I click on MuleSoft, it will show me the list of active APIs. Now we have activated the get check inventory part. So I'm clicking on that. I'll just copy this name for reference so that I can put it in the topic, right? So yeah, this is the agent action label and this part, and I'm going to next. So this operation will get the. I'm just updating the instruction, right? It's a real time. It's better like if you give near good proper information to the agent so that it can identify it, right? Real-time quantity for products. Loading text is just something like during loading it will show it to you, right? Then this is product scope. We can select collect from data from user and instruction. Show the quantity to the user from the response received. Okay. Now, since we have the data type already defined in the response, it automatically created the Apex class, right? Which is for the output rendering purpose. Okay, this is the advantage of putting proper schema so that it will be easy for the agent or for the Salesforce API catalog to parse it. Basically, if we speak in plain Java terms, right, creating a bean, right, so that it is easy for rendering or parsing the object. So I'm just clicking on show in conversation. This response code I'll filter it out, which means when we click on this filter, these details will not be shown to the user, right, in the conversation. Yeah. So now this is done. Let me finish the action. So it got finished and get check inventory is added. Now I'm going to topic conversation, real-time inventory details upon request. I'll just put use this API, which we just created. I'm just giving a hint. You need to use this so that it will be easy for the agent. Not here in the. Sorry, it should be in the. Details. This is not required. Okay, so if you see, we created an agent action by consuming our API from the MuleSoft API catalog. Okay, and we have configured in the agent using a topic. Now I am saving this. Let me refresh it here. Now my agent is ready. Speaking a hi. How can I assist you if you need to check the inventory? It is showing. Hi, how can I assist you? If you need to check the inventory of a product, please provide the SKU. I'm just gonna provide the SKU. some random enter analyzing the request. So here is the real-time inventory status of the SKU. It is giving, it is parsing me and giving, 1500 is a this thing, and this is the SKU. So yeah, so and if you see, this is the request sent and this is the response which we got from the MuleSoft API, and we can confirm this even in the MuleSoft runtime logs, right? That we received it. Let me, yeah, this is the API going to the logs. Yeah, a few seconds ago, we got this get check inventory from the Agentforce. So yes, yes. So this is how we can implement, the agent. So and we can activate it, and taking this agent and installing it to a Slack is the next step, where this agent can be accessed directly from the Slack, basically. So I believe that particular configuration will take some time, basically, which will take around 1+ hour, which we can't do here, unfortunately. But this, I believe, considering our MuleSoft and Salesforce combo, this should be good. I felt so that's why I took this part instead of Salesforce plus Slack, right? So as a demo. So yeah, that's it, guys. So this was a part on the demo, and now let me share my screen, reshare my screen again.
Anyone has any questions?
Yes, I'm going there, Lenny. Lenny, are you able to see my screen?
No, no, no.
Okay, is it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah, demo is done. Now QA. Yes, guys.
I have enabled microphone for everyone, so
Yeah.
you can speak out if someone has any questions.
Yeah, team. So hope you like the session and
I think
you
there's no questions.
sit lucky to have that. Okay, everyone's mic is enabled. You guys can unmute and speak if you have any query.
Yeah, just wanted to say the session was really good.
Thanks, Asha. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
Thank you, Harsha. So most of the questions you have answered, Jayprakash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Jay
that
Prakash,
answer?
can you please provide the link for connecting with the Slack?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. I'll do that. I'll do that.
trial link, please.
Let me categorize it. I'm categorizing it right now. One second.
Sure. Thanks.
Deployed.
Thanks, Kalyani. Anyone from Salesforce here?
Yeah, I think
We
from
have
MuleSoft
Adira.
video, we are struggling actually. I would
Okay.
suggest, to
Okay.
let me take one link for Slack.
So I think like we all are new to MuleSoft. We'll try that steps you have provided. I think this recording will be available to everyone, right?
Yes, Adira. I will share it.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hello Jay Prakash. So, is
Yeah.
there any free arc for MuleSoft?
Free, yeah, MuleSoft basically you can sign up if you are a new user, and you can use that arc for 30 days actually. It will be free if you have all the capabilities.
Thank you.
No need to.
I'll share my LinkedIn ID here. Just ping me there. I will share you the video.
Yeah, you can ping my
Thank you,
message
Arun.
if you want, right? So yeah, I think Preeti asked for it, right? Preeti, I'm sharing
Yes.
the URLs in the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you see, there is a trial course. Okay, that is not the latest it seems for the Slack integration, but you can review it for the ARC preparation. Actually, Preeti, yesterday, like 2 days before, I was trying that. Then it is not integrating. Then I found the other one, which is the latest part, where in the installed packages, right, in Salesforce. There the latest version is 1.5. but in trial version they have given 1.2, which was causing some issues. So I have mentioned that also in the chat. Okay, so you guys can follow this link. This will be helpful. So hope you guys understood like what is our idea and what we are trying to, what I was trying to say here, right? Let me know guys if you have any queries, then we can, yeah.
Do we have any A feature enabled for client version? I could see like you are using a developer version, whereas I am using a client version. I don't
So
see
for
such.
client version, it should be Sabri, but the thing is, it should it's a paid one, right? Client version will be an enterprise model, but in the enterprise model, Agentforce is something billable, I think. I'm not 100% sure about it. Maybe some Salesforce folks can help here. As far as I know, sorry, it's available in the developer arc and client version. It should be available, but only thing is, it should be of enterprise, license, and it should be paid. Actually, it is paid for this one.
But we do have, is it?
Yeah, we should have. Like, are you able to search agent? Can you search in the setup? If it is available, then it's there. Yeah. If not, then you can discuss with your Salesforce side customer manager, like what is the process or how to enable that. Actually, it should be available for all the clients. Agentforce.
Okay, to me, today's meetup is all about, like I'm creating a product and I wanted to check some inventory. All of a sudden, like when I'm, like creating a product from an, front end source, I'm not receiving a notification through Slack channel. In order to inquire further, in general, like we do, like raise a ticket to, like communicate with, like the corresponding support.
No, no,
So
no.
having, hmm,
It's not like that.
mm-hmm.
See, basically, you have some third-party APIs which you need to access. So, if we see it in the Mule perspective, right? Like, we need to create Salesforce Experience API for Salesforce to communicate to say MuleSoft. Like till last year, it was like that. But now with this feature, all your APIs can be exposed directly to MuleSoft. Sorry, MuleSoft APIs can be directly exposed to Salesforce via this API catalog. So the experience API part of Salesforce can be completely neglected or can be completely stopped, right? Using the API catalog that can be converted into invocable actions. That actions can be triggered by Salesforce then and there wherever they need actually using in their Apex class. So that is what we have done here. And for a convenience, we converted into an agent action, and we have seen how to invoke MuleSoft API from an agent via this API catalog without using it as an external service like HTTP endpoint or something like that, HTTPS or some whatever we see. And Slack is something which we added on how to have this agent interaction between agent interaction, bringing it into the Slack. That's what we have done here. That has any use case what we can create actually. Agentforce and Slack part, you no need to link MuleSoft always. That is completely a separate entity there. You can deploy, you can create a number of agents like HR agents or Canvas agent. You can do to create a Canvas, to create a maintain Slack and all, right? You can create the agent and you can deploy it to the Slack, basically install it in the Slack, so that also any feature within Salesforce, if you want to see in hand, you can use it Slack app to chat with the agent. Does that make sense? Does it answer your query?
Not, like up to the, like perception of that what I have looked through.
Okay.
To me, it is all about like, like inquiring product related information, whether the quantity
Hmm.
or the inventory. Just because the user is not a Salesforce user, he has a, like a global access in terms of, Slack communication channel where he can inquire all about.
No, no, no. It will not be like that. See, The user will be can be a Salesforce user and cannot be a Salesforce user. But the thing is, he should be like, let's say, a field service agent. Okay, when you're implementing a field service, right? That agent will be field service agent, and they will be having a team, or they will be having a workspace within Slack, right? They will be part of that workspace. And let's say the field service agent, he will be going to each and every store where they need to do a field service, right? At that time, they no need to go to Salesforce and see whether the quantity is available. Or I'm just saying quantity as just an example. It's not like that it will be that use case. You can do it for anything, like let's say tomorrow it's in a finance cloud or something, right? An RM from bank, okay, they have a Slack. They need to check this particular customer's credit limit or something. From Slack, the customer can insert his detail. Maybe I'm just telling the use case. Okay, it can they can ask the agent. Agent can fetch it from credit bureau or Sibyl. That Sibyl interaction can be done via MuleSoft. That's what I'm trying to say. So basically, the use case is limitless. Here, I just took this product as just a simple example, since uh, we are just giving a demo for the use case.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So anything else? I think compared to other days, today is silent, right, Lenny? Last week
No,
was
no, no. No, session
last.
was very good, but
Yeah.
many of them doesn't have ID on Agentforce.
Yeah, I just received the email saying due to limit, right? I think unable to process your request due to the. I got the message actually.
Next time we can plan for a pure hands-on session.
Yeah, but the problem here is, Lenny, that Slack setup will take some time, right? That is a challenge here.
Okay,
Otherwise,
okay,
we would have taken in here itself. Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
So,
then.
if there are no questions, we can wind up. Thank you, Jay Prakash.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
a
you.
nice
Thank you
session.
all.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, everyone.
Prakash.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vinny, for this
Thank you, Prakash.
session. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks, team.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Nick.
everyone. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lenny, pick எடுக்கவே இல்ல?
Pick எடுத்தாச்சு.
ஓ அப்படியா? Okay.
இது நெக்ஸ்ட் செஷன் வேணா நீங்க வந்து let me stop it.